Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. It is Thursday morning here. It is my rest day, and on rest days I usually go for a walk in the morning, about 20 to 30 minutes just to get the body moving, and then I go home and start work. Anyway, we are 4 weeks and 1 day out from Mr. Olympia. To be exact, it's actually 4 weeks and 2 days because we are 1 day ahead here in Australia. So if it's Thursday here today, it is Wednesday there. Where am I physique wise? So this morning I woke up at 104. My face is coming in, conditioning is improving, weight hasn't moved much this week. So 104, which puts me 8 kilos over my cap. I'm leaving Australia in about 3 weeks time, and ideally I want to be around 100 kilos when I fly out. So we got about 4 kilos to drop in the next 3 weeks, which is not that bad. I am doing a Q&A. I ask you guys to ask me questions on my Instagram, and I'm gonna do my first, actually this is my first Q&A on YouTube. Alright, let's go through the questions and answer them one by one. My dog, if you have a husky, you know huskies, they just fucking pull non-stop, and they don't deserve to have a bit of a fucking freedom. So what I normally do, I put this leash around my shoulder, so she's on a tight leash now and she can't fuck around. By the way, I'm wearing the history making Arnold Classic jacket. Anyways, first question. What is the first question? Tips on how to progress vacuums. Okay, so with vacuum training, it's gonna take some time if you can't pull properly, okay? You have to be patient. That is my first tip. Do it first thing in the morning, because that's when your stomach is empty and you are able to pull in properly and train that muscle properly. As you learn on how to do it, you can do it throughout the day, okay? When you have a little bit of food and fluid in. But the best time to do it is first thing in the morning, and the best tip I can give you is to be consistent with it. Do it literally every day for 6 months. If you couldn't progress, then you're doing something wrong. With the way of doing with how to do it, you basically wanna, for me, the most comfortable position and the position that I can go really deep is when I'm slightly leaning forward and putting my hand on something like the kitchen top, or if I'm in the bathroom, or if I'm in my room on my desk, I lean kind of forward a little bit. And then what you want to do is you want to exhale, let all the air out, and then you don't breathe, you just pull your stomach in and you just hold it for as long as you can, and then you reset. You breathe in, reset. When you're ready again, all out, pull in, and just repeat it for as many times as you can. I do about 5 minutes in the mornings, and what I do, I try to hold for a good 20 seconds and then take a break. When I'm taking a break, it's actually an active break or recovery. So what I do, I'm flexing or contracting my abs during that break. I breathe, reset, ready to go and do it again. So I do about 10 to 15 vacuums every morning. Next question. How many bananas do you eat a day? I know this guy is taking the piss because his brother is actually eating 18 bananas per day. 18, 1-8. If I eat 18 bananas, I shit myself all day. Okay, I don't know how he's doing it, but this person only eats fruits. So he doesn't eat any protein, he doesn't eat any vegetables, he doesn't eat any fat. His only fat source is avocado, which again is a fruit. And it doesn't look bad for what he's eating actually, because he eats literally no protein. Yeah, I only eat 1 banana per day. It's actually 100 grams. It's either 1 or a little bit less than 1 sometimes. Best health supplements for prep while being on PEDs. I'm pretty sure you guys seen it on my Instagram. I recently started taking metabolic health subs, which covers everything you need for your heart, for your kidney, and for your liver, and those organs are the most important ones when it comes to, you know, health support. Obviously things like your blood pressure and stuff like that, majority of that, it's not about the health subs you take, it's more about you not abusing gear and doing the right thing, eating the right food, doing cardio, you know. Health subs help a little bit, but it's mostly you gotta look at what you're doing. If I'm taking fucking 2 grams of testosterone and tren and deca and shit like that, I'll be holding shit load of water. There's so much water retention, hormones gonna be fucked, you're gonna feel like shit. So it's more about what you're taking first. Look at what you're taking first. See if you're eating the right food, doing cardio, doing all the right stuff, and then consider adding other stuff. If you want to add something else, I personally use metabolic health subs, which I do actually have a code for it, a discount code, which is the Persian Lion, and you can literally order it online. That's what I use, and I actually did a blood work a few weeks ago, and it was the best it's ever been, and I was blasting. Okay, I was on peak cycle back then. Next question. How does it feel getting ready for the big stage? How does it feel? It's like living a dream. It's literally like living a dream. Because I've worked for this so hard for so long. I started competing when I was 21 years old. I did my first show, and after my first show I was like, you know what, I want to make it to Olympia. You know, I want to compete against the best of the best, not just compete, but also I want to win Olympia, you know, which is still a goal of mine. Whether you think I'm going to achieve it or not, I don't give a fuck about what you think. But that's my personal goal, okay? It's not just a dream, it's actually a goal. And just getting ready for that stage after like 11 years, it took me 11 years to qualify, right? It's like living a fucking dream, you know, day in and day out. And to be completely honest with you, a lot of people ask me, you know, what are you doing differently this prep compared to the other ones? You know, how does it feel to be in prep? How's prep going? It really doesn't feel like prep, because I literally do what I'm doing now all year round. So sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, right? But then I realized, you know what, I'm actually doing enough, but I've been able to turn this into a lifestyle and make it feel like I'm doing nothing, which makes it more enjoyable and sustainable, you know? So that's how it feels to be prepping for the biggest show. It feels like living a fucking dream for sure. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. People ask me if I'm stressed, you know, if I get anxious before I go on the stage. To be honest, I never get stressed. I don't get anxious before going on the stage. To me, knowing that I've done everything I could possibly do is what, you know, matters. And that is the reason why I'm not stressed or I'm not shitting myself before going on stage. Because if I was cheating on my diet or doing something wrong, I'll probably think, oh my god, I'm gonna look like shit, you know, I'm not gonna look my best. And I'll be shitting myself if I'm going on a stage. But when you nail everything and you know you've done everything you could possibly do, there is no reason to be stressed or anxious. When I go on a stage, it's just going there to have fun and showing all the hard work I've put in and all the love I have for this sport. I have so much love and respect for bodybuilding because bodybuilding has given me absolutely everything I have. Look at this beautiful weather. It's beautiful. It's not sunny, but it's fucking perfect for an early walk. It is 6 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, let's get to the next question. Alright, this is a good one. Not gonna lie, I messed up and cheated 4 weeks out. Ate Pizza Hut. Can I recover in time? It depends, man. It really depends. The question, oops, dropped something. The question you gotta ask yourself, or I'm gonna ask you, I don't know who you are, but the question is like, how are we looking? Are you ahead? Are you behind? You know, how much weight you need to lose? There are so many questions. But what I generally recommend to my clients or whoever does this, cheats on the diet, is from next day, just get back to your normal plan. Do not do anything more or less. Do not eat less. Do not fast all day. Do not do more cardio. Do not go to sauna, okay? Just get back to plan. Because if you stop eating for a day, if you fast, if you do something stupid, what's gonna happen? You're creating too much pressure, too much stress on your body, and next day you're gonna be fucking starving, and you're gonna make the same stupid mistake again and cheat on your fucking diet. So just get back to your normal routine. That's the advice I can give you, and I give all my clients when they fuck something up. Will you be Will you be coming to Sydney show on the 6th? Yes, I will be there. I have 2 clients competing at the Sydney show. It's on the 6th. It's a Sunday. It's actually Father's Day, which fucking sucks. But I'm gonna be there for my clients, and I will be there. Next one. What's the most amount of growth you've ever achieved in a growth cycle, especially the rebound phase? The most amount of growth, I actually did a rebound phase once, which is basically, for those who don't know, is to like straight after a prep going into a growth phase, not a recovery phase, meaning potentially you take a little bit more gear as well for a few weeks depending on health markers. So I did a blood test, everything was good, and I think this was in 2022 after a show. And then for the first time we were like, oh, let's do a rebound phase, see how it goes. So we pushed the food up straight away to a slight surplus and the gear back up. To be honest, I do not think it was the most productive, because after prep you don't realize it. You know, you think you're fine because your body's used to it, but you need a few weeks to recover, okay? I personally think everyone needs at least 2 to 3 weeks to just focus on recovery and resting and getting everything back to normal. By everything, I mean your sleep, hormones, and absolutely everything. I don't think it was the most productive because I needed to be on a recovery phase, and I believe everyone has need to be on a recovery phase. I don't think I made so much gains. I don't think the gains I made were quality. I think it would have been more productive if I did recovery phase first for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then we pushed for the growth. That's what I personally believe works the best, because think about it, after prep you don't really need much gear. Best thing you can do is to pull back, because food is going up, and that extra food will get the job done for a few weeks, you know, when it comes to your gym performance, when it comes to your recovery and everything. So gear goes down, food comes up to maintenance, and slowly you increase your food so you feel better and better. You feel out after 4 to 6 weeks, then it's go time. That's what I would personally do if I have the time, depending on when I'm competing next. But the most amount of gains I have made, it's been this past 2-3 years, and I believe the reason for that has been because I've been staying lean all year round, okay? Meaning I've been more insulin sensitive. My body's been more insulin sensitive and responsive to everything we do. My hunger is up. Obviously I'm hungry all year. I've been hungry. People ask me, are you hungry? I've been fucking hungry for like 2-3 years, okay? Of course you're hungry, and you have to accept that being hungry is normal. If you're not hungry, you're fucking fat. You're getting fat, okay? So being hungry is normal. Anyway, yeah, so I think your body utilizes food and everything better, and even responds to gear better when you are leaner, okay? Obviously you want to be as lean as you can be, while making sure, you know, your sleep is on point, you're getting good sleep. You don't want to be too lean. You don't want to be like starving all day. You gotta be hungry, but not like starving, like prep hunger. Your hormones and everything, you want them to be normalized. So that's how lean you want to be, as lean as you can be, while ensuring everything else is on point. Alright, next question. Single arm hammer strength isolateral row for lower lats. How to execute properly? Okay, how to execute that properly, or you ask for alternatives. So with single arm hammer strength row, what you gotta do, instead of sitting on it, if you wanna get more lats, I would be standing, and I would put my support hand on the pad, just like that. And then you wanna lean, you wanna push your hips back, so your torso is actually not like, let me show you this. I'm left-handed. So if the machine is here and you're standing here, you want to push your ass back so your torso is more like that, not upright, right? Which makes the machine line up perfectly with your lower lat muscle fibers if you're standing like that. So you're basically leaning forward, and when you pull, you want to think about your elbow, and you want to drive your elbow to your hip. Okay, there was one more thing I was gonna say. Oh, you gotta make sure your elbow stays in. That's how you get more lats. Even on the way down, try keeping your elbow in. I don't think that's the best exercise personally. The best one, or a good alternative for that, would be the high row that you guys have seen me do on Instagram. It's basically the one I do with cables. So what you gotta do, you get a cable, you put it in front of a you get a bench, you put it in front of a cable attachment, and then you sit on the bench. When you're sitting, you want the attachment, you want the cable to be slightly higher than your shoulder, so you're pulling like from here to here, okay? That's the best exercise for lats, and you can just adjust it to whatever feels better, you know, on your lats based on your structure. My goal to exercise for lats is that one instead of the hammer strength row, if you're looking for a good alternative. Okay, what's your post Olympia meal going to be? Good one. I don't know. I haven't even been thinking about that, to be honest. I think it's too early to think about that, and to be honest, I don't really focus on that too much. I'm not hungry. I'm fucking hungry. Can I eat? I can't eat fucking 20,000 calories in one sitting, no question. But food is just food. It's always gonna be there. We're definitely gonna go out and eat something after the show, no question, especially because I have my family coming from Canada I have my camera guy flying with me to America. You know, we all gonna go out. I have Dean there, you know, we have the Flex crew there. There's so many of us. Definitely gonna go out, hang out and eat something. But I'm not like too fussy about food, and that's the last thing I'm thinking about right now. I don't know what we're gonna eat, but we're gonna eat something nice, okay? Alright, next one. How long did it take you to turn pro? How did it take me to take pro? It took me, so I started competing in 2016. Not training, competing. My first show was in 2016, and I turned pro in 2021 after doing 13 shows, 1-3. So that's, how many years is that? 2016. So that's 5 years of competing. Was it 5 years? Yeah, 2016. That's, yeah, 5 years of competing, but not 5 years of training. I started training when I was 14 years old. I'm 32 now. I think I turned pro when I was 27, if I'm not wrong, something like that. Yeah, I think I turned pro when I was 27. So it was actually after 6 years of competing and 11 years of training. 11 years of training. Hopefully my math isn't terrible and I didn't fuck that one up. Alright, next one. What's your go-to cardio and how much? Do you track steps? What's your ab training? That's actually a few questions. Let me just read it again so I don't miss something. So my go-to cardio is I walk on incline. I usually put it on, for the speed, I put it on 4 to 4.5, and I put it on incline anywhere from 10 to 14. If you know, 15 is the max. That's what I do. But the goal is for me to keep my heart rate around 130, you know, this whole time for 20, which goes for 20 minutes. If you want to get the health benefit or the heart health benefits from doing cardio, you want to do that for at least 20 minutes, okay? Keep your heart rate around that 130 for like 20 minutes, and you want it to be like steady. That's how you get the heart health benefits. And do you track steps? Of course, tracking steps is more important than doing cardio. You know, you want to know your output, so you want to make sure especially when you prep, if you know your output, you have a baseline, right? Let's say you hit 8,000 steps per day, and you know that before you start your prep. And then if you want to be in a larger deficit when you start, you bump it up to 10,000. That is more accurate than just aiming for, you know, cardio. Let's say you're like, oh, I'm gonna do 30 minutes of cardio when I start my prep. But okay, you do your 30 minutes cardio, but then the rest of it. Some days you might just sit on your ass and do nothing, so you're burning less calories. And some days you might be going to the shops, doing groceries, taking your dog for a walk and be doing more steps, so you'll be burning more calories. So you can't really, things not gonna be as predictable, okay? If it makes sense. Things will not be as predictable if you are only hitting for a certain amount of cardio. But if you do a few cardio sessions per week, I do cardio for health, not to burn calories, okay? At the moment I'm doing 4 cardio sessions, which is 20 minutes each time. And that's just for health. But then my steps are around 10,000 steps every day. That's how much I'm averaging. If we want to speed up the fat loss process, we push it up a little bit, which I think it's going to happen soon. We shall see. For my ab routine, my ab training at the moment, it's like I do 2 to 3 sets before each workout. If it's a leg workout, before a leg workout I do plank. If it's a chest workout, I do ab crunches with rope. If it's a back workout, I do leg raises. I do leg raises before back, just because at the same time I'm stretching my lats, stretching everything out. So that's my routine literally. I don't have an ab day. It's just I do like 2 to 3 sets before each workout as a part of my warm-up and activation work. I like doing abs before a workout because it activates my core, and when I'm training, you know, I can use my core and I can keep it tight, which is the recipe to not grow your waist. Back training, what's your opinion on reps and sets for growth? I think for any muscle, to be honest, my personal preference is doing anywhere from 7 to 13 reps. Okay, I don't do anything for less than 7 just because I don't think when it comes to muscle hypertrophy, I don't think you get the most out of it. Plus there's a higher risk of getting injured if you're doing heavy stuff for, let's say, 3 to 5 reps. I don't want to get injured. I'm a bodybuilder, okay? I want to train the safest way possible, and at the same time I want to make the most amount of gains as possible. So for me, it's anywhere from 7 to 13, I'd say. I don't think you would need to do anything less than 6 reps if you're trying to grow, or you probably won't need to do anything for more than 15 reps. You want to stay within that 6 to 15 rep range for everything. And the most important part here is ensuring you are making progress. You're getting stronger over time. That's how you grow. It's not about the rep range, it's more about you putting more tension on your muscle each time you train. Alright, next question. Most overrated bodybuilding food? It can be anything: core, egg whites, rice cake. How yours is rice cake. Okay, I personally think most overrated bodybuilding food is chicken, broccoli and rice. That's what a lot of people actually think bodybuilders eat. So we do chicken, rice and broccoli, or like I think all bodybuilders eat egg white. I don't even eat egg whites. Yeah, I think those are the most overrated foods. You don't need to have them in your diet. You know, you only have to eat what you can digest, okay, and what you enjoy. You want to be able to stay consistent with your diet. If I'm not liking chicken breast and I fucking hate it, I don't have to eat it. I can eat steak, I can eat chicken thighs, I can eat white fish, you know. There's so many options. So yeah, that's what I think the most overrated is. And the most underrated is fucking cream of rice. Cream of rice is the best food. I have it twice a day. If you know. I get my cream of rice from Atlas Nutrition. It's the best cream of rice in the game. The consistency is amazing. Digestion is fucking unreal on it. I do have a discount code, which is the Persian line, if you guys want to get it. My favorite is the cinnamon scroll and chocolate mud cake. Love it. Next one. Do you take GH daily or only on training days? Of course I take GH daily. With everything I do, I take them on daily basis, because when it comes to GH or even anything like testosterone, everything, steroids, you want it to be stable. You want the exposure to be more stable. You don't want to feel amazing one day, right, and then feel like shit next day. You want to be more consistent. You want to feel great all the time. You don't want to have your highs and your lows, and it's better for your hormones anyway, okay? So yes, I do take GH daily. I don't think there is any reason for you to not be taking it daily or do like 5 days on, 2 days off. I don't think it's necessary. It's more about you being consistent with it. Instead of doing it like 5 days on, 2 days off, you just take a little bit less. Instead of doing 4 IUs 5 days a week, do 3 IUs 7 days a week, you know, something like that. I would take GH daily for sure. Test Primo GH for off season. Best ratio. I don't think there is a best ratio. When I put my cycle on Instagram, People are like, what the fuck, bro? You're taking so much primo and mastone for how much testosterone you're taking. Your estrogen must be fucking dead now. You must have nothing. But it's not true. My estrogen is actually, my E2 is actually sitting above the normal range still. So everyone responds differently. There is no best ratio. What you can do is to find out how much testosterone on its own you can handle, right? So you start, let's say you've never taken gear, you start with 200, see how that goes, do it for a few months, get the most out of it, and then you still bump it up to like 250, you know, for a few months, get some blood work done, monitor your side effects, because the blood work even by itself is not gonna really show anything. Your E2 can be as high as it can be, as long as it's not giving you side effects, okay? So just monitor side effects, watch the health markers, you know, and then push it up slowly until you get to a point where you're like, okay, this is when I'm getting side effects. There's so much water retention, you know, I feel like shit. I feel like I'm getting any side, like acne and shit like that. That's how you know how much you can tolerate. Test on its own. And then you can add something else like primo in, add a little bit in, see how you feel, you know, and just play around with it. It's gonna take time for you to find out what the sweet spot for you is. But once you get there, you know, it's easy to manage it. And with GH, you don't really want to be taking less than 3 IUs. I don't think anything less than 3 IUs, unless you've never taken it. Maybe you can start with 2 IUs, and again, see if you're getting any side effects, and go from there. But I would say this sweet spot would be anywhere from 4 to 6 IUs for GH. I ran 4 IUs for the first 10 years of my competitive bodybuilding. So 4 IUs for me was the sweet spot. Then recently, I think it was the last year, we bumped it up to 6 and 8 for growth phase, but it goes down as I get closer to the show. Usually goes down to 4 IU again. Next question. If there is a muscle loss on calorie deficit and I'm 5 weeks out of show, should I increase my carbs? Okay, what makes there are so many questions I need to ask you. I don't know anything about you, you know. So you're 5 weeks out. What makes you think there is a muscle loss? You know, why do you think you've lost muscle? That's number one. Are you ahead? Are you behind? Is there a weight that you have to meet to be able to compete? You have to make weight. I don't know any of this, but what makes you think there is a muscle loss? Can you just comment below and let me know? For me personally, what I look at is my training performance in prep. If my training performance, especially my push performance, my push like presses is going down, I would know, okay, you know, this is when I want to put some food back in, do a refeed or 2, and then go from there. Because as soon as I do that, my performance goes back up. So the main thing you need to monitor is your gym performance. If your performance is going down, then there is going to be a risk that you might be losing muscles, no matter how much gear you are taking. So that's something you want to look at. Honestly, with your question, I don't have an answer because there are so many things, so many other things I need to know. But it's always, because you have 5 weeks out, it's always, you know, a good option to do a refeed or 2 or even 3 days if you're ahead. You know, fill back up, feel fresh, pull some fatigue out, improve performance, and go back to deficit again. Next question. Do you have any recommendation for managing hunger during a cutting phase? Do I have any recommendation? Number one, make sure, let's say you have 5 minutes. Make sure out of that 5 minutes, there are some meals that you truly enjoy and it, you know, slows down your cravings. Like for me, it's like cream of rice. I have it twice a day. It's like a dessert, it's like a cake. And number 2, you can push your meals back, start eating later. You don't want to eat as soon as you wake up. You know, I personally start eating anywhere from 9 to 10 a.m. in the morning, and then from there I'm eating every 3 hours pretty much, which works perfectly. What else? I mean, you can, incorporate some nicotine to manage your hunger. I'm not really doing that. This is actually the first prep in a very long time that I haven't vaped at all. So it can help, but a lot of people tend to overdo it. And to be honest with you, your body kind of gets used to it after a few days, if not weeks. A few weeks, if not a few days. What else? Like use the foods that are higher in volume. Like for example, instead of eating rice, if you're really hungry, eat potatoes, white potatoes. And even if you want to see more volume, instead of eating white potatoes, eat spotlight potatoes. Go from having bread or rice cakes to something that's more filling. Go from having, let's say you're in the morning, you usually have a shake. Go from having a protein shake with some fruits and oats, to something like egg whites, veggies, something that's more filling. Okay, you don't want to go with calorie dense food in a deficit if you're really hungry. So still that way you hit your, calorie target, and your food volume, your food weight is going to be more, so you feel fuller. I think I covered it all. One more question, I believe. One more question. Last one. What's your opinion going 0 carbs last 2 weeks before the show with one large refeed day? Why would you do that? 2 weeks, bro. It depends on how large you are, if you're ready or not. But sometimes being on no carbs for 2 weeks can get you, not sometimes, it will get you fucking extremely flat. Okay, you'll be really flat. And sometimes you would need more than 1 day to fill back up, depending on how big you are. I don't think it's a good idea to do it for 2 weeks. But what you can do, you can trial it. You can do a 3-day depletion, and then do a high day, and then see what you look like after. But I wouldn't do it for 2 weeks. I would trial it first, see if it works, and then go from there. Definitely not for 2 weeks though. I wouldn't say you need it for more than maximum 5 days if you really want to deplete hard, sensitize your body, and you trying to make weight, right? There is really no reason for you to do 0 carbs unless you really want to make weight. That's the only reason I would do no carbs. Or if you are behind and you have to push extremely hard. Okay, that is a wrap for my first Q&A on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm probably gonna do more of these if I know you guys are enjoying it. We shall see. This is gonna go on my YouTube today actually. I'm gonna quickly trim it, put it together, and it's gonna be on my YouTube today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you comment, do all that good stuff, and it helps. The support helps and keeps me going. If I see more support, I'll make more videos like this so you guys can get more and more out of it. It's all bodybuilding contents, It's all honest work, no bullshit. I share absolutely everything I do because I want to help you guys. Thank you.